Today, Attorney General Eric Holder called for treatment instead of long sentences for low-level drug offenders. Fox 7's Noel Newton joins us live from the Travis County Justice Complex with more on that. Noel.
Holder says our jails and prisons are severely overcrowded and some drug offenders would be better served in treatment facilities, and he's got the support of the Austin Police Chief.
Thank you for calling Austin Recovery. This is Scott. How can I help you?
Scott Lynch, it's a story.
Have you had any follow-ups to see if that was okay?
He used to be addicted to pain pills.
Okay.
The habit led him to a 12-year prison sentence.
Okay, so you're using that IV?
Help came when he was given the option of trading his cell for rehab.
I chose to engage in rehab, chose to get the treatment, and it was more beneficial in that 6 months than the entire 5 years of just incarceration. You were looking maybe for an immediate admission?
Lynch now works as an admissions specialist for Drug Help Center Austin Recovery. U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder feels what worked for Lynch will work for other low-level, nonviolent drug offenders. Monday, he called for lighter sentences and diverting users to drug treatment facilities and community service programs, leaving more jail space for violent criminals.
We in the federal government can become both smarter and tougher on crime.
Austin Police Chief Art Acevedo supports Holder's plan.
Well, I think that if you talk to a lot of my colleagues around the country, that most of us feel that people that are just addicts, are addicted to drugs, that are users, that are either, but that aren't the ones that are out poisoning our kids by being the big dealers on the street, that we are better served trying to get them treated, trying to break that cycle of addiction.
Acevedo says his priority is violent crime.
I'd rather not tie up an officer with a small amount, taking somebody to jail with a small quantity of marijuana. In the meantime, somebody's hiding in their closet, somebody broke in. I'd rather have that unit freed up to go deal with that imminent threat to public safety.
Have you been using anything else besides the methamphetamines?
Lynch, a repeat offender himself, says treatment will have an impact on violent crime, too.
If we can attack addiction from the front end, then we can stop, the burglaries, the robberies, the murders that people commit out of a hunger for that addiction.
Lynch says the only setback is an offender's willingness to accept treatment. He did, and now he's 5 years clean. Holder also suggested compassionate releases for inmates with compelling stories, and those inmates would not have any violent crimes on their records, and that includes elderly inmates who have served the majority of their time. Back to you.
Yeah, we're going to talk about more of this a little bit later. Thanks, Noel.
Own data shows that the war on drugs in Texas is a battle in bulk. From April of 2006 to June of this year, DPS troopers seized more than 9 million pounds of marijuana at an estimated street value of more than $5 billion. Now, while many of these cases are related to the Mexican cartels, the majority of marijuana-related arrests in Texas are nonviolent, casual users. Joining us now live to discuss this is Jamie Spencer. Jamie is the legal advisor to Texas NORML. That is a national organization for the reform of marijuana laws. Jamie, thank you so much for being with us tonight. We really appreciate it. We know NORML has always pushed for decriminalization of the legislation there. Does the Attorney General's comments help legalize NORML's argument, or legitimize, I should say, NORML's argument?
Absolutely, Christine. The good news is that what Attorney General Holder said this morning is the first time that not only this administration, but any administration has said what many of us have been shouting from the rooftops for decades, that this 40-year experiment in mass incarceration is socially, economically, and perhaps most importantly, he acknowledged that it was morally wrong what we are doing to low-level offenders by incarcerating them for long periods of time, and some people would say by incarcerating them at all.
Well, there is also a number of critics out there who believe that drug abusers and drug dealers only pave the way for more crime, including violent crime. How do you respond to that?
Well, the specifics proposal that Mr. Holder made actually would exclude any offenses where there was violence, where there were guns involved, where there were sale to minors, where there was evidence that the defendant was a part of a cartel or somehow involved in the upper levels, not just as a kingpin in these drug offenses. And therefore, the portions of the proposal that would eliminate mandatory minimums wouldn't apply to anybody that had any sort of violence in their case at all. In other words, it would apply to most marijuana users that are almost all nonviolent.
Well, although you have to admit that the statistics will show, the U.S. Department of Justice even show that drug users are more likely than non-users to commit crimes in the future.
Well, what you're probably referring to is what one of your past guests just talked about, the recidivism rates. A lot of those recidivism rates actually deal with tiny violations of probation or parole. I mean, missing a meeting, getting behind on fees, not keeping up entirely with their community service. The recidivism rates actually include sending people back to prison for, again, very minor violations of probation or parole. So some of those statistics are misleading.
Well, some of this is a debate that will go on for probably years to come. We appreciate your time, Jamie. Spencer from the organization NORML. Thank you.